So let's talk Atomfall, because the review came out for that. You had 3 hours with it. It's one of the
Yep.
big, I would say bigger releases. Is this a double A game? Where do you classify this game, Co? What?
I'd say double A. It's a
Double
good
A?
place. It's
Okay,
Rebellion, which is like Sniper Elite and stuff like that. So Sniper Elite games have
okay.
always been pretty, they're solid games. There's like a real niche audience that really loves them. Atomfall for me, man, I spent 3 hours with it yesterday. Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I loved it. I mean, it feels kind of like Metro. A lot of people think it was going to be like a Fallout game. It's not a Fallout game. It's much more linear. It looks to be a little bit smaller in scope. The mechanics are much more streamlined. Kind of like Last of Us. Instead of going around and getting like tons of different items, you're going around and you're getting like amounts of items in capped sets. So you're getting like fabric, water, tape, stuff like that. And you can only hold like 10 or 15 or 20 of each one. So it's not like Fallout. We're just loading up an endless inventory and going to bank that stuff. You are relatively limited. On that other note, you only have an inventory that has like 15 slots, and then you have 4 big slots in your back for 2-hand weapons. And trading and bartering is actually done on a per item basis. So you don't have like some arbitrary currency that you sell for like 5 gold or 10 credits. When you trade with NPCs, you have to give them items on your character that then have a value at the top that goes back and forth, and then you have to line that up with whatever you want to get from them. So it makes it a little bit more interesting in terms of like, stockpiling items and how you're going to loot, which I was still figuring out at the end of my 3 hours. I'm not really sure the best way to loot in this game yet. I don't know if it's like Stalker, where you load yourself up with stuff and then you go to one of the, there's like a bank system. You just go drop all your stuff in a bank. Or if it's a kind of thing where the game doesn't want you to do that, where they just want you to like have a full inventory, manage keeping it full, and then whenever you get to a vendor, you just sell whatever you don't need. Lots and lots of side areas to explore, tons of loot everywhere. I did find a variety of weapons. I think four different range weapons and some throwables, as well as a bunch of different melee weapons. There is a skill system as well, but it seems rather rudimentary. I think maybe probably 27 skills in all, 36 skills in all, about that. 4 blocks of 9. And yeah, I had a great time. Fully voice acted, beautifully organic, immersive environment, but definitely felt like it's a little more about the journey and exploration and a little bit less about the mechanics and stuff. The combat itself felt a little basic. Like there's no block. The only thing you can do is like attack and power attack. And that felt really weird in Melee because like there's no dodge either. So I didn't know like how the game expects you to do Melee. Are you supposed to like stay right at the periphery of the enemy and like try to back up away from their attacks and swing between their attacks? Since there's no blocking, you can't really charge head in or you take a bunch of damage. So even by the end of the game, I was like, either I'm not really understanding Melee or I feel like it's not super well designed. Like one of those was adding up. But yeah, it felt really, really good. And at the end of my 3 hours, all I wanted to do was play significantly more. I've already talked to my wife like, hey, so can I get off dadding a couple nights this week so I can play Atomfall for like 10 hours a day? But yeah, to be fair and to be clear for anyone that doesn't know me, this type of game is my jam. This is one of my favorite types of games, since like Deus Ex and Cyberpunk and that kind of thing. Immersive sim style, like RPG / immersive game. This is my bread and butter. So it's so far exactly what I'm looking for from it.
Yeah.
Did you feel?
Did you get any sort of synopsis for this? Oh my God! I'm sorry, Dan. Please go. Dan.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything.
How was ammo? Did you feel like you could use bullets, or did you have to conserve them a lot?
So because I was exploring like every single place I possibly could, I seemed to have a good amount of ammo. I always had ammo when I needed it, but it was always like just a few more than I needed for using the guns. So it seems like if you play like me or like you, to put it bluntly, Dan, that ammo will be okay. But I was not like walking around with hundreds of ammo by any means. Like, and I was frequently switching guns to take advantage of low ammo and high ammo in different guns. So yeah, it looks like for people that are just going to blitz through it, you're probably going to be doing a lot of Melee. But for people like us that are like to crawl and do lots of there in the time that I played, I went into like 4 optional side dungeons that I could have just walked past. And each of them were like full of loot and all sorts of fun stuff. So right at the end of my 3 hours, I got to the city. I didn't even get a chance to explore it because I was having so much fun doing the overworld stuff. But yeah, kind of a Metro Outer Worlds vibe with a little bit of Stalker. Not so much a Fallout Cyberpunk vibe. Like I think, unfortunately, some people were kind of hoping. It's much more of kind of like it seems to be more about the world and the story and exploring it, less about the deep mechanics and deep combat systems.
Yeah. Yeah. Zeke, what were we gonna say?
Did you get an idea of like? I hate to say it like this, but is there a point? Like,
Oh, yeah, no. So the story so
Yeah.
far has been pretty cool. You basically wake up inside this quarantined area. There's that giant purple thing in the sky you can see there, and that's where they were doing some crazy science experiment that went so horribly wrong that they essentially built this giant wall around it, and now there's people stuck inside of it. You don't know why you're there. You don't know who you are. And at the very beginning of the game, this dude who's dying basically tells you, like, you need to get to this place. That's where you're going to find out why all this happened, and you need to do that and then get out.
cool. That's
I mean, like, it
What-
immediately pulled
so
me
many-
in, so.
what so many of these like survival games lack for me is like, no, the point is to survive. And I'm like, I don't want to just survive. I want to
Yeah.
get somewhere and do something. I want to fly a rocket off of this planet or whatever it is.
This game
You know,
has a
so, like,
very specific, like, you are here for a purpose. This is not a sandbox game, Zeke. You are going to have objectives and know exactly where you need to go next if you want to the whole time.
This might be for me then.
It's nice to have a purpose when you're
It
playing
is.
a game like
It's
that.
true. Yeah, that's very true. I like
In
the
that
visuals.
regard, it feels very Metro, which is it's for some reason when I said this during the gameplay, someone was like, "Oh, it's that bad." I was like, "No, that's like wild." If I ever say something's like Metro, that's a wildly glowing statement. Yeah, like it's fantastic. So yeah.
What is the giant glowy thing in the center? I'm assuming that's the Atomfall.
So
or something like that?
apparently there was they were trying to do some kind of power system, and something went horribly awry. And it turned out that there was not only the power system on the top, but some kind of derelict secret lab situation under it. And that's literally all I know.
Okay.
So they call wherever you need to go the interchange, and people keep kind of alluding to it. And that's basically what the guy at the very beginning of the game says. These aren't spoilers. This is all like at the very start.
Yeah.
He basically is like, you need to get to the interchange. You need to figure out what's going on in here. You need to figure out the secrets. And then like, that's it. So, and I never even started to move towards the interchange. So I don't know where it's going.
Got it.
But anywhere you look in the world, there's like all sorts of weird stuff going on. There's also some kind of weird virus thing, like almost mycological. It looks to be kind of based on fungus or something. Very avowed in a way, because it's like a fungus that everyone says they hear voices and stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool, it's a dream scourge.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is somehow related to the other stuff. But I mean, I have no idea how yet.
Yeah.
Why the
Is there
fuck is it always mushrooms? Always
I know,
mushrooms.
right?
You know.
They like that natural tangent because, you know, we have the real mushrooms in real life that do that to ants and stuff. So they
Yeah.
like making that kind of tangential jump there. Like, oh, maybe it could happen to us too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dan, what were you trying to say?
Is there difficulty settings, or is it just one difficulty for everyone?
Yep. Difficulty settings. So you can pick exactly how hard you want it to be.
Awesome.
There's the
Sounds like it's gonna be a
inventory.
lot of fun.
It's a bit, I like.
You can
I
see
like
at the
big
top.
inventory.
The top there, those are the wow, I'm circling it. Thanks, Co. The top there is where you can see like the different things you can loot, and they max out, like scrap max out at 40. That's the second one. You know, cans at 10. And then there's like a full crafting system, kind of like Last of Us, where you get blueprints, and then you can start crafting regular consumables and stuff in your inventory, all that kind of
Nice.
stuff.
Cool.
Every weapon I got was a piece of shit. So like I'm assuming that you get like significantly better weapons as game progresses, but like every single weapon I found was like literally like rusty garbage long rifle, like barely working 2-barrel shotgun. Like it was terrible.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, great time to mention this game is on Game Pass. So if this is looking even
nice.
slightly cool to you, it is on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yes, which is
So-
fantastic.
Does it release everywhere tomorrow? What's the release schedule
Yep.
for this?
I
Fully out
believe this
tomorrow?
game is releasing around the same. It's either 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. tomorrow. I hope it's 1 p.m. because I've got First Berserker from 11 to 1. So,
With,
um,
with the pre-purchase, because that's what it says on Steam.
so the actual release is the 27th.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
the actual release is 27th, and then if you pre-purchase, you get it 3 days early. They're doing that
For
bullshit.
20 extra bucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Ooh, okay.
and I believe it's at 1. I think it's standard Steam release tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
For the early. So
Okay.
I want to say 1 p.m., but I don't know if they've announced that differently somewhere.
Got it. Yeah, just go to the Steam page. I think that's where you can find all the info.
If anyone confirms any release times for that, though, please let me know. Yeah, I'm trying to
It
find
says starts approximately in 19 hours for the advanced access.
Who's going to do the math
Steam.
on stream? I think Co's trying to do it.
No, I'm not. No.
That's
No, I'm not.
Atomfall.